to order at 6:30. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Tom. How are you guys doing?
Hey.
Good.
I'm
How are you
good.
doing? How you doing, Josh?
And this meeting shouldn't take that long, but I do need to read something pursuant to the chapter, section 20, section 20 of chapter 20 of the Acts of 2020. An act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency and the March 31st, 2025 extension granted by chapter 22 of the Acts of 22. There's a lot of twos in there. This meeting for the town of Bridgewater will be fully remote and accessible to the public through remote participation to the greatest extent possible. No in-person attendance is permitted. Citizens who wish to tune into the meeting may do so via Zoom. That said, we have one major piece of business to attend to under new business. We'll talk about that in a little bit more, but we need to do a little bit more close out of some things. So I'm assuming you've had a chance to read the April 18th, 2023 minutes. And if so, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion we approve those minutes as written or transmitted.
And I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any changes, comments, or anything?
No.
No, then I'll take a roll call vote. Tom?
Aye.
Kristen?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So it's three no, motion passes. Also, I'll entertain a motion to accept the May 15th, 2023 minutes. I'll be honest with you, I'd forgotten we had the meeting. I couldn't find some of that. So thank you so much, Kristen, for that. But I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I'll let Kristen do that one.
I accept.
I second it.
Okay, and no discussion. I will take a roll call vote. Kristen?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Carlton is a yes. We have no public, so public comment will be done. Old business. I'm just going to go through a couple of items, 5 items here. I think you guys knew that we had possibly back in May, I might have mentioned that we needed to look at the Municipal Energy Initiative tracking system, the database that I help manage. And one of the things I was concerned back then was that maybe we were missing some accounts that were not being accounted for in our use and cost data. So beginning back in May, I think, I had worked with Lori Garini, who's the now acting finance director, and requested a list of active accounts. It took almost the whole summer. I think it finally came through in August, maybe early September. And I went through the active accounts that National Grid provided, and I compared that to the accounts that we have in the database. And I found that all of the accounts that we have active +3 are in the MEI. So we're accurate from an electrical perspective. The 3 accounts that I found that we did not have in the MEI system appear to be old accounts that are there's no data in them. I've waited a couple months to see if data would upload, and there's nothing that's come through. So those appear to be just inactive accounts, and we're in good shape there. Under Green Communities, I will add the annual report that we're required to do is a new format. You guys don't get involved with it. The town prepares a report. It's now an online report instead of having to fill out a spreadsheet. It's a little bit more complex in some ways, a lot more straightforward, but I think it's going to be a much better for the reporting, and I will hopefully assist the town planner who has the lead, I believe. Along the same points, I had scheduled a meeting with Mr. Dutton last week. He had to call, I think he had to call that off, and he's been delayed. He's been out of the office, I think probably not working on some illness recovery. So that annual report's due. I have a number of items to talk to him about, and hopefully the next meeting will be up to date on that. So that's where the Green Communities situation is. other than the fact under new business, we'll talk about a grant that the town won. I know we all had talked about the energy aggregation program. I don't know if you followed what's going on, but the town council acted on it. They moved it forward. The town put out an RFP and 2 companies responded to help with energy aggregation for the town. Recall that is the town purchases the supply energy. We get a better rate, and it's an opt-out program that all meters in town would commercial and residential would be on that list. I was asked to participate in the review of those two companies. One was selected, and I offered to support the town. It's about a 9 to 12 month process. Because I wasn't able to meet with the town manager, I don't have an update as to when they will start educating the public and doing their work. But at least we moved that part, and thank you guys for supporting that process and moving that forward. So we'll update again on that particular one. If you have questions, just wave your hand, whatever, or just speak up. There's this, I think we've talked in the past about solarizing some of the public properties in town. I've continued to work on that. That was one of the things I wanted to show the town manager when we met. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that. It's quite a long PowerPoint, but I've done quite a bit of research now. And I think where the best opportunities are, I know there are a couple of others that have mentioned they'd like to get some solarization of parking lots and town property going. So hopefully that will happen. On a side note for that, the town council has indicated that they would want to have a presentation sometime in the next few weeks or month regarding what the Energy Committee's been doing. So if we get invited, when we get invited, I'll have a meeting and we can go over what the things we're doing. The new fire station, again, we talked about it in May. We did send a letter to them. They did invite me to come to I think I was the only one that was able to show up for that meeting, but we went over a lot of the energy recommendations that we had made, and they were very open to receiving those. That was done in the summertime. Last week, the fire station architect presented to the town council where they're at. They have done, I think they said they had 170 design sheets in the bid package. It's out to bid right now. I think in early November, the bids are due back for, it's quite complex. There's a lot of going on. But anyway, they did include a lot of energy issues that we had mentioned. Not all of them, but I do know that they said publicly that they had designed the roof to hold the solar panels if we needed them. I'm not sure about the other things, but they did as much as they could, I think, to make this an energy efficient building. So that's where we're at there with that. So we should be hearing in the next month or 6 weeks or so whether or not, when the contracts are let, that kind of thing. And that they're anticipating a startup for that, I think sometime in early 2024 and a completion sometime late in 2025. So that's a work in progress. Let's see. The other thing, municipal source update, that's energy aggregation. That's a little bit about the sourcing of the town. So I don't have a lot to say there. And we'll move forward on that. The wind energy zoning. Again, that's a topic I wanted to talk with Mr. Dutton about, and we were not able to meet, so I haven't been able to see where the town's at with that particular one. Any questions or comments on the old business at all?
I like we're doing what we thought we were going to be doing.
Okay, thanks for listening.
I have a question, sorry.
Go ahead.
I've been writing notes. Let me see. Oh, do you know what company they hired for the energy aggregation or the consultant who you
I
had said
don't
there
know
was
if the
two.
contract's been signed.
Oh, okay.
One was Good Energy and one was Colonial.
Okay, I remember Good Energy.
The Good Energy was, they had come around. Colonial, I thought the presentations were great and I think the voting was close, but I'm not gonna say who got
Okay.
it because I don't think it's been
Okay.
publicly announced yet. That was the question I was gonna see, where are we with that?
Oh.
They're both great companies. They were very close in the competition.
Hmm.
Um, so the new business, the important thing tonight is the Green Communities Grant. Did you have a chance to read the letter from Shane O'Brien from the planning department who submitted it?
I did.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that he had started discussing back in September of 22 with this firm that did the assessment. I had one meeting, he said we're looking at buildings, but I hadn't heard much more. So a little bit of background, I did speak at the last town council meeting because I learned about the grant being awarded, not from any communications from the town or elsewhere. And I was concerned that the Energy Committee wasn't consulted on what the application was for. And in fact, I didn't even understand what some of them application components were. So I had asked the town council to at least hear and talk with the energy, what they were going to be done. And at the end of the meeting, the president of the town council put a motion or asked for a motion to have the Energy Committee review that grant and give our opinion on it. So that's why the meeting is tonight. And that's the major piece of work that we have to do. But what I'm going to do is share my screen because I have a little bit of a presentation that I want to go through. Let me see here. Yeah. So if you can see this, what I did was kind of put together a brief
There we go.
on it. So the study goal based on the report, they brought a company in. That company will probably do the work itself. It's not clear to me, but I believe that's how it worked in the past. So their goal that they worked on was to make our buildings perform the way they were designed to do, or should have been. And you guys weren't around in the committee back when we first did this, but at the police station, when it was built, they ran into some they were shortfalls. And so they did some reductions in the scope. And one of the things that they did is they didn't put the control system that they needed into the police station. So an early Green Communities funding grant actually provided the money to put what we called the brain in place for the police station. So that was all upgraded, but apparently there's still some cold spots and that kind of thing. So basically they wanted to look at the senior center to decrease the cost of keeping its facility operating. They wanted to improve the comfort and humidity control into the indoor air quality at the library. They wanted to avoid premature roof failure for the police station and the library by adding an air barrier above the drop ceiling. They also the goal was to make the buildings more comfortable for the staff and clients. And what else? Decrease the energy maintenance budgets and costs, and finally to fund retrofits through decreased utility spending. So anything they do here has to have a payback on it. And so that's what was done. They studied 4 buildings, the library, the senior center, and the police station, but they also took a hard look at the Williams Elementary School. We carry in the database the Williams Elementary School electrical and gas information. But because it's a regional district, we don't pay for that directly. Therefore, they're not in our baseline and that kind of thing. What's coming up here? So that the data's there, that's available, but because they're not part of the school system, the district, the buildings in Bridgewater, they're part of the regional district, are not in the Green Communities portfolio. We don't have that data available, so they couldn't move forward on that. But to step ahead a little bit, one of the things that they're doing, I think Shane said it in his letter, they are starting to talk, the town is starting to talk with the school committee and the superintendent to see how we can bring those district buildings that we own into the green communities. I think that's, and when I talked about the annual report, they have in there lots of language about school districts, regional school districts. So I think it's possible. It's just going to take some time, and I'm not sure what the overall impact are. Very quickly, the public library, they found that the attic hatch was located in a room that had a very cold second floor. So there's some insulation work that needs to be done. The senior center had some sashes and window sashes that are leaky, weatherizing that, and there were some other uninsulated areas, so they found that. The police station had some areas that didn't have a proper seal in it, so they looked at that and they provided a cost estimate for doing that. And then finally, the Williams School had a lot of leaky classrooms. It's a pretty old building, so it's not surprising. And I'm not going to get into it. The detail, they provided a lot of detailed scoping, like weather stripping, seal the frame, air seal the gable walls, police station. There was scope of work that they put together, showing that it was in good. They thought it was in good condition, but the air infiltration was not managed very well. And finally, the senior center, and I've actually looked at those because I was out there recently. There's a lot of windows that need a lot of TLC sealing and those kinds of things. So that the costs that were requested by the town are to upgrade all of those energy issues. They also, where Green Communities allows the town to put forward and ask for administrative funds. And so the town asked for $10,000 for administrative funds. I wanted more detail on exactly how that would be done. I'm not sure if they're going to bring somebody else in to help support it. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's $10,000 that the town could access. The other thing the Green Communities would fund is a energy. Let me see. Yeah. For the HVA system at the Academy building, especially, it doesn't do a good job of balancing the air. So several areas may be, for example, there's one office up on the second floor that gets sunlight in the morning, so it tries to cool things down in the summertime, but it also cools down a room that's on the west side of the building on the first floor.
This is wrong.
Unequal cooling and heating, and that's a really challenging operating system. So getting some training on how to operate that system was provided, and there's funds for somebody to take a training on that. And here, I guess in the blue, the town hopes to reopen the conversations with the school committee, and hopefully they will bring us in to do that, or at least me, and then hopefully we'll have some input in a future meeting. And then the scope of work for the administrative costs is up to 200 hours of effort to support the green community, materials, that kind of thing. So very quickly, they requested this kind of money. Was here, like senior center, 28,000, police station, 28,000, public library, about 60,000. And they had the Williams School, and there was not a lot of cost, 93,000, I guess that's pretty significant cost. So basically, the total funding that was possible to request for was about 225,000. But again, when it went to the Green Communities, they could only do a few things. And what I'm showing you here is the order from the town council, and it has all the whereases, etc. But basically, the specifics are to Department of Energy Resources, the Green Communities Division approved a competitive grant award for $113,815, $10,000 for the administrative assistant, $1,250 for the building operator certification, $53,000 for the $54,000 for the library, a little over $24,000 for the police station, about $24,261 for the police center, senior center. Those numbers are somewhat less than the remember I talked about 28,000 before.
Mm-hmm.
numbers are a little bit less than what it might cost. So the grant award is a little bit less than the estimated cost. So that's where we are right now. And what I need to have now is a discussion under a motion. Basically, what do you guys feel about this so we can provide to the town council? I need to send whatever we decide tonight, I need to send that to the clerk so she can put it in the agenda for Friday. So what do you think?
I think it's an awesome grant. Now, you mentioned the 28,000 and the police in the senior center. Will this it looks like about $8,000 to $10,000 short. Would that affect any of this in any way? Would they not be able to go to the level that's been proposed? That's a good chunk of money right there.
That's a really good question. I don't know because there's another thing that isn't anywhere in the grant, and it's a question I want to ask the town council to ask the town manager. Sometimes you'll get an incentive from the energy supplier, National Grid. So that could be that cost differential, proposed cost differential, could be made up,
could be absorbed by them.
Incentives, and therefore you'd have enough money from the town and from the incentive to cover the cost. That's not clear to me, and that's one reason I wanted to have this discussion tonight.
But my only concern is if that part doesn't come through, or does the town have the wherewithal to come up with the difference if it needs it to finish the project? You want the project to be completed as proposed.
That's a good question. What I did want to do is go over with you a little bit about the transmittal language that I wanted to use if we support this or otherwise. But so the language I was thinking, if we vote to support this, Energy Committee voted however many for the grant award. And we request the other thing, it's not the motion, but I wanted to in the transmittal say, Energy Committee requests the town manager explain the following to the public: who will receive the building operator training and the training schedule.
That's exactly what I was gonna.
I'm glad you hear you thinking of it, and how the administrative funds will be spent. I mean, it could be a consultant, it could be town employee, it could be a part-time person. I just don't know. So I think we as a committee need to have answers to that. And then I have a couple more things here that I wanted to put in the transmittal. The committee further requests an explanation for how the difference between the estimated building conservation measure cost and the awarded funds will be reconciled, and if additional town funds or incentive funds will be needed to complete the projects. So I anticipated, I'd seen the shortfall. Tom, you brought it up. Great. Thank you very much. And then the other thing in the transmittal was, moreover, the Energy Committee requests the town provide a schedule for completing and completion dates for each activity receiving funds to ensure the town is eligible for competitive funds under the 2024 green community grant cycle. Background, I think I've mentioned it in the past. One of the things that happens when you get a grant, you have to complete that grant before you're eligible to get more grant money. Sure. During the conversations at the town council with the fire station architect, one of the things that was mentioned is there's this decarbonization grant, that a competitive grant for decarbonization that's up to $500,000 for town, and you have to match that 25%. So one of the things I think will be really important is for the fire station, it could be, and then you have 2 or 3 years to complete. The one thing that would be help offset potential cost growth because of, the contract comes in, but there may be change orders, that kind of thing. Anything that's related to energy that we can get additional funds would be really good. So I want to make sure the town is eligible to vote to apply for the decarbonization grant this spring, if at all possible. They have a second chance in the fall, but I think it behooves the town to move forward sooner. So the language I have here is what I would ask for consensus on, to include that in transmittal to the town. I'm talking a lot, more questions. You've got good ones there, Tom. How about you, Kristen?
Um, mm, no, the question that I had was regarding the funds for the operator and for the administrative, so you had already covered that. Did you want to do that motion about,
Yeah, I would now entertain a motion,
Yeah.
and I didn't put whether it's to support or not support. You guys can provide that. Somebody make the motion with respect to the,
I just
what
have a
the Energy Committee feels.
question about how did, so when they submitted the grant, they gave them that total, so it ended up being a little bit under that total? Is
Yeah,
that understandable? What I understand? Okay, so I'm just wondering why, I guess. I want to know, like, kind of the back end of how we didn't get the funds, the total that we requested, but
yeah. I think the motion could be simply a motion to support the grant award as provided, something like that.
yeah, I'm happy to have the grant, and it's I mean, really glad we got it overall. So yeah, I guess,
Okay, and again, the language to include that we could put that in the motion, you guys, whoever, we can put that in the motion, so I just put something up there so we could work for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I make the motion that we accept, show our support to accept the, what am I thinking? My mind just went blank, the grant that has been presented to us. With the caveat that we'd like to know if there's a difference in the end, is it covered monetarily? That's,
Okay, so and we'll need a second on that, but let me try to state it again. So the motion is basically
to accept the grant as it's written.
we support, I
Mhm.
think the right one would be, we support the grant award in total from the green communities.
I
Correct.
second that.
Okay. Kristen, I may need to have you send it to me so I can get it in the letter, but basically, I think we've discussed it pretty thoroughly. Do you have any other comments on it? All right, I'll take a roll call vote. Tom?
Aye.
Aye. Kristen?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So the motion will be that the committee voted 3-0 to support the Green Communities Grant for $113,815. And then I will include this language here in the transmittal email, that kind of thing. I personally think it's a really good idea. I think the process, I will be quite pointed. I believe the process needs to be, and I think the town council president said the same thing. The process needs to incorporate the energy committee at an earlier stage while we discuss things. That's what I hope to have a conversation with the town manager about going forward. So we are in the loop also. I don't have anything else tonight. I just wanted to make sure we got this done because the council meets next Tuesday and they will vote on accepting it next Tuesday or not. And I'm pretty sure they will accept. So any other questions, comments, concerns?
Not right now.
Well, I'm gonna say, let's have a motion to adjourn and we can get on with our evening.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
And I second that.
And I have no discussion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand. All right, so we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Good night.
If I can
Now
figure out how to get out of here, I'll be good.
this off.
I might be on this thing all night.
Good night.
I'm going to stop the share and then
Oh, there it is.
I'm going to end the meeting.
All right.